This is a review of what we did yesterday in 3-6. So the first thing that we need to be able to do is to find that place value. So for number 1, we're going over, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Tenths, hundredths, and here's our thousandths. So we're increasing that number by 7. So we take and we think, okay, if I'm making one change, it's going to go up to, and I'm going to write right over the top of it, to 8. So that is my answer for the first one. 588. For the next one, I'm going to erase that. I'm going to bring it back to the original number. It says we're going to decrease, which means bring down the number by 100,000. Well, again, we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. There's our 100,000s. We're having that number go down by 1. So now we change this number to a 6, and all the rest of the digits stay the same. So you'll write that in this spot up here. The next one says we're going to add 8 into the hundreds place. Not the hundredths, the hundreds. Ones, tens, hundreds. There's our hundreds. We're going to add 8 to 0, which gets us to 8. So you're going to write that whole number out with an 8 in the hundreds place. The last one asks us to take 2 away in the hundredths place. Tenths, here's our hundredths place. We need to take 2 away from that, which leaves that as a 6. So you'll rewrite that answer and put it there. This next section is also a review. It's trying to remind us about what the numbers actually are valued at, the place value. So when we see 37 written like that, we need to add in the dimes and pennies so it looks like this. And 45 cents we need to add in so it has a decimal point, and then we can subtract it. What we don't want to do, what I see kids do all the time, is they say, oh, we're going to put 45 on the top, and we're going to go like this, and we're going to add them, and we're going to get 82. Well, what is it? 82 cents, $82, 82. This does not make any sense. So when we write it, we want to write that we have $37, and then we have $0.45. So when we add this together, this should basically be mental math. Here again, we want to remember that 25 cents is the same thing as saying a $sign and 0.25. So when we add them together, we're going to line up our decimal points like this, and then simply add those two together. Obviously, they're trying to get you to see that money can be written like this, or it can be written like this. We want to write it like this with a decimal point so that it's easy for us when we copy the exercise and we add again. It's just a simple math addition problem. Remember, our decimal point comes straight down. This is number 8, and here again, because these are fractions or parts of a meter, we need to make these 9 meters look like this. Remember, once we add a decimal point, you can add zeros on forever and ever, and the value of the number doesn't change. So now when we line these problems up, there are 0 ones, decimal point, 0 tenths, and 5 hundredths, and then we just add those two together. The rest of that section you should be able to do. Just remember to line up your decimal points, which will line up your place values. Now flipping to the remembering side, make sure you read the instructions. The instructions are asking that you're either going to write equal sign because it's equal to, or the inequality sign, which is not equal to. So in other words, are they the same or are they not the same? So if I'm looking 6 in the ones, 6 in the ones, 0 in the tenths, 0 in the tenths, 0 in the hundredths, 3 in the hundredths, those are not the same. Here we have 5, and here we have 5, and you might say, oh, but this one has a whole bunch of zeros after it. Remember, no matter how many zeros you have after the decimal point, it doesn't change the value. So these two are equal. Here, same thing. You have a whole bunch of zeros and 0. These are the same thing. Here you have 18 and 18. You have 6/10 and 6/10. Again, I can add a 0 here, so I have a 0 and a 0. These two are also the same. Do the other column following that same way of thinking. For the next section, I've drawn the place value chart on the side to help you out, but now I've written it right beneath the number. So now all you should have to do is look and say, okay, the digit 7 is in the thousands place. So you might want to pause it and just look at this to complete 13 through 19 if you need to.